Jesus is saying this: when you have something in your life that you're praying about, bother God with your burden. It's Jesus saying, annoy God with my adversity, irritate God with my issue, pester God with my problem. And listen, don't stop. Look at verses 2-5. We're going to meet these two characters, and they're really important. Jesus is telling this parable, this story about praying and not losing heart. And he says, in a certain city, there was a judge who neither feared God nor respected man. There was a widow in that city who kept coming to him, this judge, and saying, give me justice against my adversary. For a while, the judge refused, but afterward, he said to himself, though I neither fear God nor respect man, at least he's self-aware, right? Yet because this widow keeps bothering me, there's your word, this widow just keeps bothering me, I will give her justice so that she will not beat me down by her continual coming. And I love this story that Jesus is sharing. It's really fascinating to me. Here's this judge, he's self-consumed, like he's self-focused, he cares nothing about God, he cares nothing about people, he's just all in for life for himself. Like, what can I chase? What can I accomplish? What can I achieve? Me, me, me. This is him. We're also introduced to this widow. She's got some problem. We don't know what the problem is. We're not told. The only thing that we are told is that she needs some form of justice. She's been wronged, and now she needs some help. She's hurting, so she's gone to this judge, right? It's the only place she can go. It's the only person that she can plead to. So Jesus is telling this story about prayer, and he's like, hey, what does she do? She keeps going and going and going, and he keeps ignoring and ignoring and ignoring her. This is a real problem for this widow. Back in this day and in this culture, widows were pretty much powerless, helpless. She didn't have any income. There was nothing for her to earn, no way for her to even earn. There was obviously here in this story no family to help her out, to come to her aid. And so there was complete dependence on other people for help, and there were not a lot of other people who helped her, if any at all. She had no protector who could go arm in arm with her to this judge and say, hey, listen to this lady's case. Things are bad. She's been wrong. There's none of that. She has no position to bribe this judge. There's nothing she can do. She's desperate. She's desperate. The only thing she could do, she did. The only thing she could do was bother the judge. And so day and night, she would go to this judge and bother him, ask for help. Give me justice against my adversary was her plea. And she would just bother the fool out of this guy. That's all she could do. You ever been there? Powerless, helpless, unable to buy your way out of something, unable to network your way out of something, desperate, completely dependent on something or someone else's mercy. You just are there. Maybe you understand what that's like. Maybe there's something going on in your life where you're like, there's nothing I can do here. Zero. I've got this health thing and I can't do anything about it. Unless God moves, I stay put right here in this situation. And it stinks. This is this lady. Verse 3 just says, all she could do, she kept coming to him and saying, give me justice against my adversary. How did the judge respond to this? Verse 5, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will give her justice so that she will not beat me down with her continual coming. I like the way that the Message puts this. The Message version says, this is the judge speaking, I'd better do something and see that she gets justice Otherwise, I'm going to end up black and blue by her pounding. Love that. This continual coming in the Greek, the original language of the New Testament, is a boxing term. So it's literally like throwing punches, her prayers, her pounding on this judge's door. And she just one blow after another, and this judge feels like emotionally beat up and tired. She has worn him down. Let me ask you this. Do you see this woman's posture? I'm not talking about standing or sitting or like laying face down on the ground in prayer. None of that. When I talk about posture, I mean her desperation. She has a problem and she's powerless to solve it. She can't do anything. Her posture is simply this posture of bothering God. Remember now, what's fascinating is Jesus is sharing this story to his boys, saying, I want you guys to understand the power of prayer before I go back and I'm physically with the Father and no longer physically with you. You got to get this. And he paints this picture of this widow who's bothering God. In essence, Jesus is saying this: when you have something in your life that you're praying about, bother God with your burden. It's Jesus saying, annoy God with my adversity. Irritate God with my issue. Pester God with my problem. And listen, don't stop. Isn't that interesting? So let me ask you a question. What burden do you have right now? This summer, if the exercise, if the challenge is to bother God in prayer, what bubbles to the surface without even having to think about it that is going on in my life that is causing me anxiety, that is causing me worry, that is causing me some fear, that is causing me some stuff that I don't like? What is the irritation in my life? What is my adversity? What is my problem? What is it? Now capture that. And listen, I want you to commit the summer to bother God with that. You with me? Because this is what Jesus is saying to do. I want to teach you how to pray. Learn from this widow. Go to the judge and just keep pounding on the door and don't stop. So whatever that is, go there. What's interesting is Luke 18 begins with this invitation from Jesus to bother God, and Luke 18 also ends with this. I want to read to you verses 35 through 40, same chapter, Luke 18. This is Jesus, and it says, as he drew near to Jericho, a blind man was sitting by the roadside begging, and hearing a crowd going by, he inquired what this meant, and they told him, Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. And he cried out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Watch this. And those who were in front rebuked him. Like, stop bothering Jesus. He's going somewhere. He's on a mission. Don't interrupt him. He's busy. Like, just settle down, calm down. You're just a beggar. Watch what happens next. As soon as they told this guy to pipe down, I love this. It says, but he cried out all the more, Son of David, have mercy on me. In other words, he starts going nuts. You just picture that, right? He completely ignored them and he just started going crazy. Jesus, 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 hey, over here, have mercy. You can just see it happening, right? He completely ignored the rebuke. Now watch what happens after that. Verse 40. As he did that, Jesus stopped and commanded him to be brought to him. And when he came near, Jesus asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" Isn't that pretty powerful? What did Jesus respond to? He responded to this man's refusal to stop asking. It made Jesus smile. It made Jesus stop. It annoyed all the other people. It excited Jesus. Now, what could happen in our lives when we come to Christ in prayer and we refuse to give up? Right? God, what might happen? So powerful. There's another story, Luke chapter 11. His disciples come to him. You may be familiar with this. And they ask him, "Lord, teach us how to pray." And so Jesus teaches them this short little prayer called the Lord's Prayer, right? Y'all know the Lord's Prayer? Our Father. Do y'all know the King James Version or the NIV? Anyway. I always laugh at that when we're doing like a corporate recital of the Lord's Prayer. I'm always like, okay, who are the King James people and who are the, anyway. So he teaches them this pray, "Our Father in heaven, hallowed be," right? He walks through that. And then he adds something beautiful at the end of that. He says this, "Which of you who has a friend will go to him at midnight and say to him, 'Friend, lend me 3 loaves. For a friend of mine has arrived on a journey and I have nothing to set before him.' And he will answer from within, 'Do not bother me. The door is now shut and my kids are in the bed. I cannot get up and give you anything.'" Now that would be me. Anybody else? Like, "I'm tired. Sorry, you should have prepared better." Amen? Okay, it's just me. I'm just the callous and cold guy. If you come to my house at midnight and you bang on the door asking for bread, I'm telling you, sorry. Jesus says, "I tell you, though he will not get up and give him anything, because he is his friend, yet because of his impudence, he will rise and give him whatever he needs." Impudence. Did you use that word in a sentence this past week? Probably not. Impudence means boldness, almost verging on rudeness. You see the posture of this guy? Posture of the blind beggar was just a refusal to quit. The posture of this man is this refusal. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's powerful. If you read the Psalms, that's what you see. Where do you feel powerless? Jim Cymbala writes, "I discovered an astonishing truth. God is attracted to weakness. He can't resist those who humbly and honestly admit how desperately they need him. Our weakness, in fact, makes room for his power." Where do you feel powerless? I can't do anything about this. Here's what you can do. You can accept God's invitation, and the invitation is to incessantly irritate God.